Hey, it's Michael P. here from Waves, and today we're going to go through and have a look at the Eddie Kramer Artist Signature plugins and show you how you can take your session from zero to hero in about 9 minutes with these plugins, and I'm only going to use 6 of them with this session. Now in this session we have vocals, backup vocals, we've got guitars, we've got keyboards, and we've got drums. But again, only 6 plugins, so let's see how we do that. Now, the lead vocal in this one is actually pretty good. Solo it.
I've been making excuses for you for too long.
Yeah, it's pretty good because, as Eddie says, try and make sure you record things well on the way in so you don't have to mess around with them too much on the way out. It's all about committing to a good sound. What you don't want to do all the time is finding you're fixing everything in the mix. So with this vocal, even though it's good, I still need to do some polish to it. I want some EQ, some compression, some verb, and definitely some delay. Let's have a listen. So here we go again.
You're like a child that doesn't belong in my heart. You have started a fire gone out.
So straight away, when I put the plugin on, even in factory default, you're starting to hear some difference. It's a bit louder, you've got some verb in there, and a bit of different EQ. It's not what I want, though. So I'm going to mess around with the sensitivity first. Now, sensitivity is what helps you guide to get the right input. Because if you were Eddie Kramer, you would know with your ears exactly what level input was required to get the right result on the way out. Now with the sensitivity knob, what we've got is a little light connected to it. So as you're dialing up the sensitivity, it's going to go from bright yellow to bright red. Now somewhere in the middle there is about right, around orange usually. But the reality is it's all up to you. If you want something that sounds the way it would if it's all the way in the red, then there's nothing saying you can't do that. But right now, I'm guessing we're aiming for orange.
You're like a child that doesn't belong in my heart. You have started a fire gone out of control. Was to show all the moments of doubt. You're like a child that doesn't belong in my heart. You have started a...
So if you see what I did there, I pulled the compression down because it was sounding compressed, and I don't like that. We don't want everything to sound compressed. We want to get the best edit that you never heard. So now the other thing I did was I took the verb down. In this one, I don't want verb. I just want some delay. Let me show you how to get the delay in groove with the rest of the session. Now you'll notice there's only a speed alteration dial. There's no beat map to the rest of the session because Eddie doesn't use that. He uses his ears. So the easiest way, if you're not used to doing that, is grab your drums, put them back in the mix,
You're like a child that does...
and start messing around with the delay.
You're like a child that doesn't belong in my heart. You have started a fire gone out of control. Was to show all the moments of doubt.
That's about right. So now your delay is synced in with the whole session the way it would be in any other kind of delay. Works for me. Now let's talk about the backup vocals. Now the backup vocals, if you take a look here, I've got them all bust through one auxiliary, and on that auxiliary I have the Eddie Kramer Effects plugin. Why not the vocal plugin? Well, because it's not the one I want, and nobody is going to tell me what plugin I have to use because there are no rules. In this case, I don't want compression. What I want is I want a lot of spread, and I want some really bright verb and delay. And I think I'm going to get that here. So let's have a listen to what it sounds like beforehand before we actually stick anything on it. Backup sound a bit like this.
Got my head right for the first time. Now it's perfectly clear.
Plug in.
Got my head right for the first time. Now it's perfectly clear. You were lying, sick of crying. Hey.
No, that's not the one I want. Let's go back to Z-slap.
Got my head right for the first time. Now it's perfectly clear. You were lying, sick of crying. Hate the pain, hate the tears.
And that's pretty much all I need. So if I put that back underneath the lead vocal,
Got my head right for the first time. Now it's perfectly clear. You were lying, sick of crying, hate the pain, hate the tears. I know it's the right thing to do after all that you've been taking and putting me through.
That's exactly what I'm after. So now we can move on and we can mess around with the guitar. Now, if you go down to the guitar down here, you're going to see that the guitar looks fairly well recorded. It's not too hot on the way in. It's nice and consistent, and it sounds exactly the same. The problem I have with it is it's too clean. I want to dirty it up a bit. I want it to sound a teeny weeny bit warmer, but also a teeny weeny bit grungier. So let's have a mess around with that. Now, as soon as I put the plug-in on, you're going to hear a difference. Now, in this case, let's go for lead. Lead has got the flange. And again, there is no such rule that says you can't use it just because it's not a lead guitar. So here we go. That's what I'm after. So now, the only other thing I need to do, other than the drums, is go and take a quick look at the keys. Now, the keys, again, what we have here is we have a problem because we don't actually have a keyboard plugin in the Eddie Kramer Artist Signature plugin bundle. So, what are we going to use? In this case, I'm going to use the vocal plugin because the vocal plugin has everything in it I need. It's got great compression, it's got some nice verb and delay, and the EQ is really transparent. So, here's what the keys sound like by themselves. Remember what I said about the output. Let's pull it down a bit before we start tweaking. Gives it kind of like a honky-tonk feel, and it's different. I like it. So if I add that to the guitar, let's see what happens. Yep, that's going to work for me. So now let's move on to the drums. Now, all of the drums were recorded on one track because the band was on a budget. But if you look at the drum plugin, there is no setting that says this setting is for all of the drums recorded on one track. So what are we going to do? Again, you're going to have to think outside the box and break some of the rules that aren't there in the first place. Now, if we put this through the default plugin, it's going to end up on bass drum, which is not really what I want. This is what the drum sounds by itself. So let's try it on snare. Now we're talking. Now watch me do some tweaking. That gives me a nice grungy drum beat, and I like it. So if I add all of that together, let's see what I get.
I've been making excuses for you for too long. You're like a child that doesn't belong in my heart. You have started a fire, gone out.
And that is how you go from zero to hero in about 10 minutes with the Waves Eddie Kramer Artist Signature plugins. See you next time.